Who listens to you? How do you feel when you're not heard? Like when someone fixates on their phone, not you. How does that make you feel? Lonely? Resentful? Yet when someone listens to you with so much presence, the world fades away and it's just the two of you deeply connected. How do you feel then? Uplifted? Being heard in this way is powerful because we are hardwired to thrive when we feel seen and heard and supported by others, period. I longed for this in my own life. From 3 years old on, I lived on the second floor of this stately mansion in a small country town of Auburn, Nebraska, population 3,000. Second floor because my family converted the first floor into a bustling restaurant with banging and clanging and late-night bar crowds beneath my bedroom every night, with chaos, wild family dysfunction, and a laser focus on the business, not the family. My cheerful smile hid a sad, withering heart, and what I wanted more than anything, without even being able to name it, was to feel seen and heard. And if someone would have asked me, who listens to you? It would not have been my parents. For me, it would have been my grandma Helga. And in her presence, it's as though we were in a safe, warm, delicious bubble, and savory aromas wafting in from the kitchen added extra comfort. Our connection was critically important, especially in high school, when the school counselor, let's just call him Mr. Bupkis, said, "Terri, you're a small town girl. You get lost in a big city like Lincoln, Nebraska. Your best bet is to go to secretarial school and work for your family restaurant." That was a death sentence for my spirit. After tortured, sleepless nights, I turned to Grandma Helga to sort through that lie. She was wise, resilient, twice widowed, successful in business, and her words carried weight. With great presence and empathy, Grandma Helga said, "Terri, look at all I've done without education. Think of what you can do with it." And in that moment, the trajectory of my life shifted forever. With Grandma Helga by my side, listening, and a mound of student loans, it became possible to earn a master's degree in educational psychology from the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, and eventually chair the American Counseling Association Foundation, representing over 50,000 professional counselors nationwide. Doors kept opening. I led human-centered design teams from across the nation, showcasing workforce innovation at the White House, not once but twice. Wonder what Mr. Bupkis would say about that. These teams embraced empathy to improve their experience for their customers. And as powerful as empathy is, through deep soul searching, analyzing research, and reflecting on what helped me thrive despite the odds, it became clear there were major missing pieces in how we communicate. We don't feel heard, and it's deadly. According to Cigna, over half of the American population is lonely. And Harvard Magazine reports the impact of loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, with health risks now exceeding those of obesity. This broke my heart, and I had to do something. So I listened. With insights from that listening, I created a holistic approach called Soulful Listening that fills in the communication gaps. 5 easily repeatable elements offer a roadmap to listening in a way that leaves others feeling heard deeply. With this approach, I've spoken around the world, helping leaders, medical professionals, and parents improve the way they listen. The results are amazing. The first element is self-care. When you've had enough rest and good nutrition, don't you feel more emotionally available for others? Yeah. Grandma Helga was a woman ahead of her time. She knew all about self-care. She set firm, healthy boundaries, nourished her creative side through art projects, and she knew when to step away to take time for herself. And all of this helped her to be more present, at her best, bringing out the best in others and giving more generously than anyone I've ever known. Self-care helps fill our cup, so to speak, and it's a gift you give not only to yourself, but to others. Which leads us to the second element, and that's becoming fully present. Imagine we've all been in situations where we can almost see a bubble above a person's head with a list of things they're thinking about. We feel it. Once we've given ourselves what we really need, then we can relax and offer our full attention to another person. What a beautiful gift. Becoming present may sound a little abstract. So I'd love for us to experience an activity that I share at my live events. So first, check in with your bodies. See how you feel right now. Just notice how you feel. Maybe move around a little bit. Going to shake things off. Now we're going to take 3 intentional breaths. The way that we'll do that is we'll slowly breathe in through our nose, hold, and then breathe out through our mouth. And as we're doing this, I invite you to notice the warmth in your heart area. So let's begin. Breathe in through your nose. Hold. Out through your mouth. Again, in through your nose. Hold. Out through your mouth. And a third time. Breathe in through your nose. Hold. And out through your mouth. Notice your body now. Feel how the energy has shifted. Wiggle your toes. We are all more fully in our bodies now. When we truly take care of ourselves and become fully present, we offer a state of grace and compassion into every interaction. Which leads us to the third element of soulful listening, empathy and active listening. If these two had a child, it would be this element. And it's all in, where you listen with every fiber of your being, through every source you have available, through your eyes, your ears, your intuition, your heart, to more than just words. The Urban Dictionary defines this type of listening as quantum listening. When we connect on this deeper level, we often gain insights into how we might be helpful to another, especially when we enter with a state of curiosity and openness, as opposed to playing out both sides of a conversation in our head before it even begins. In the past, that self-talk may have sounded something like, oh, he'll say this, I'll say that, it's going to end like this, which never turns out well, right? And this leads us to the fourth element, the secret sauce, inspired action, which is way more than a polite head nod. It's taking action on insights we gained from quality conversations. The Dalai Lama shares, our prime purpose in this life is to help others. We all have access to resources, connections, information that can be of enormous value to another on their life path. And this brings us to the fifth element of soulful listening, the feedback loop. And feedback means letting the person know that you've taken inspired action on their behalf, like calling an employer to make an important introduction. No strings attached. You've got somebody else's back, and you're letting them know. And as these 5 elements are repeated, it embeds integrity and confidence within relationships. During a recent keynote for top leadership, attendees reminded me of how easily this approach bridges into all relationships as they applied soulful listening in their workplace and their home life simultaneously. Just one soulful listening conversation has the power to change the trajectory of the life and the world forever. This has happened time and time again in all types of relationships, including the one between my son Jacob and me. A single parent from the time he was 10, Jacob and I knew early on it would be up to the two of us to finance whatever was to follow high school. So when he was 15, we tuned in, fully present for a high-stakes conversation. And I asked Jacob what he would like for his after-high school experience. Jacob, with great clarity, at 6'5", 300 pounds, announced, "Mom, I'd like to go someplace strong in math and science, and if I could, play on a good football team. Is there a place that has both?" I heard Jacob, beyond his words, beyond his body language, to that deeply insightful part of him that was calling forth a life of boundless possibilities. It was time for inspired action. So checking around, a Southern school kept popping up. And so I took that back to Jacob, the feedback loop, to let him know. And he said, "Mom, we should go." How was I even going to pay for plane tickets, let alone feed a 300-pound behemoth athlete in a big city? Yet, it happened. By listening soulfully and taking action, doors kept opening. After meeting with coaches and students, Jacob looked down at me from his towering frame and said, "Mom, I feel like I belong here." And that was it. Before the end of his junior year, he had earned a full scholarship and stepped into his bold vision. Jacob did all the work, physically and academically. I simply walked alongside him, holding a space for possibility and listening soulfully. As he grew from this little boy pretending to be a Nebraska football player to a powerful Georgia Tech offensive lineman, to a doctor of physical therapy. Possibilities unleashed. Imagine what a different world it would be for all of us if everyone felt seen and heard and supported through these 5 elements. Would loneliness diminish? Relationships flourish? Greater human potential be realized? My heart says yes. We began with the question, who listens to you? Now ask yourself, who matters most to you that you want to listen to and perhaps inspire? Simply begin one soulful listening conversation at a time. Take a breath and listen. Thank you.